Mecca's Beauty Bar and Spa services offers eyelashes, facial, eyebrow tint, ingrown hair removal, waxing, eyebrow shaving, makeup, facial, eyebrow waxing, full body waxing. Call 876-990-535 on Instagram Mecca's Beauty Bar. Inside 123 Arcade Shop, 12 Park Plaza, Halfway Tree. Open Monday to Saturday, 9:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. The place you want to be.
Welcome back to On Scene Sports TV and NG Sports 730 representing for NG Sports. We are live. Today we are going to do an interview with Yoni Epstein. He's going to drop a game-changing insight on, the whole JPL and also his club that he is now the chairman for, Montego Bay United. The slogan, Javan, our slogan for Montego Bay. Mobi in a spirit, them no day. Yes, and that's how we started the show. People. So let me introduce our guest. So, Sir Yoni Epstein, the chairman of Montego Bay United Football Club, MBU, officially took over ownership of the club in the late 2023 alongside Dr. Jermaine Spencer. Yes. Epstein, a successful businessman and founder of the ITEL BPO, if you never hear it here, no, has brought new investment and partnership to Montego Bay United. Your goal is to elevate the club, both locally and regionally, with significant improvement in infrastructure, training, and marketing. The new leadership aims to position Montego Bay United as a top football organizer in Jamaica, wider Caribbean, and also CONCACAF. All right, people. So, Siobhan Period, what you say about this interview so far? What you say is going to happen?
Well, firstly, let me say thanks for having me on the show, Unseen. Greatly appreciate you giving me the opportunity to be here. Want to say thanks to all the fans, everybody who's here watching live and also on repeat. Also, thanks to Mr. Yanni Epstein, who took the time out to come and speak with us, give us some insights on the work that he has been doing so far with Montego Bay United, which we all can say has been an improvement since he has been here, since he has joined the football fraternity. And so we look forward to hear what he has done, and we hope best the other clubs can potentially learn from him as well.
All right, so we're not keeping on the backstage no longer. All right, we're going to put him right on the set right now for him to just tell persons more about it. Sir Yoni Epstein, welcome to Unseen Sports TV, also MG Sports. You're live on the YouTube platform. I think this is the first interview I've done on YouTube, in the YouTube space.
Actually, morning everybody. Yes, it is the first time I've been on YouTube, and thanks for having me, and look forward to the discussion this morning.
I'm so proud to have you, the first one. That's going down in history. First question. So before in the backstage, first question. Why football? As a business person, you could do many other things in terms of investment with even different sports as well. Why football?
Why, and specifically, why Jamaican football? In which most
yeah. Why?
persons would say over the past few years hasn't been the best. Why did you take on that challenge to try to uplift the football, especially on that side of the island as well?
So, I took up football mainly because of youth and youth development. My son, who's 10, has been playing football for years, and we've gone on different paths with him outside of Jamaica, particularly in Spain, with Barcelona and Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid, and now he's been selected to play a tournament next summer in Spain. And I said to myself, well, fortunately, we have the means to bring him to those types of opportunities. And unfortunately, most Jamaicans don't have the means for those types of opportunities. So I then said, well, if we can go somewhere, we must can bring somewhere to Jamaica and provide that opportunity. And that's really where the thought process came from. And then being a businessman and looking at it and saying, football has always been looked upon as like social intervention, and go to companies and beg money from their social corporate responsibility budgets. And I was watching and had many conversations with Chris Williams, who's the chairman of Professional Football Jamaica, who's a good friend of mine. And I was saying to him, I like the direction you're going, because you're taking a business attitude towards it versus just being, a social impact aspect. And that is where football needs to go to Jamaica, is to not only be competitive at the local, but at the international level, as in the national team making the World Cup and actually, doing something and making strides in the World Cup. So more that research that I did into, I recognize in order to develop players and actually, make it a business, you need to be affiliated to a club and to be able to transfer players through the FIFA Connect platforms and things like that. That's the only legal and way to do it locally and internationally. So I went to Dr. Spencer, who had recently done a stint at MBU on the PO. And I actually was a director of MBU back in like 2014 with PO for a short stint. So I kind of I knew my way around the team a little bit, and I went to Doc and say, yo, how we can do this thing. He said, well, let's go to Paul, because he wants to look at a way to transition himself out of the team and give it to somebody else who can take it to the next level. And October 2023 is when we took over, and the rest is history from there.
That's good. That's good. Were there any challenges that you faced upon your acquisition of the team?
No, not. I wouldn't say so. I mean, the challenges, I think, were looking at it and saying, all right, well, we've now taken over this monster, right? Because Montego Bay United is not a normal team, and it is a force to be reckoned with outside of the results on the field, right? If you think about the history of Montego Bay United, coming from the days of Seba and football in the west of Wadada and Violet Kickers, and just the quality of ball that took place in the western region, it is something that you had to sit down and think about and respect and determine how you're going to unearth this power once again. And that was kind of our first approach. I mean, to the point where last season, as I was saying, kind of behind the scenes before we got live, is when we saw the jerseys and the home jersey was green and blue, and the away jersey was red and green, and I kind of asked some questions like, what is the difference of the colors and the red and the green, and it was just by chance. It was like, I think it was one of the first or second home matches we had to wear the red and green because the blue and green was conflicting with another side. And you could hear in the crowd some of the staunch, diehard, Seba fans that are still around are like, yo, the man, you get it, because they're going to sit out and bring out the red and green. And from that, I asked questions like, is there any rules? Can we switch it from red and green as the home jersey and so on? And they're like, no, man, you can choose anything. And so we said, all right, from here on out, this season, the red and green is the home jersey. And that was like my first big move that kind of, shot it and bring back the vibes towards the club.
Okay. Unseen?
Yeah. In terms of your family endorse you in doing this mission. Yeah, your wife.
100%. My wife is a big football fan. My family is a big football fan. Outside of MBU, still working on my son, but we're a Chelsea football club household.
All right. So a question.
You got the Chelsea man, you know? Chelsea,
So a question, Yanni. Your son, seeing that he has that experience, has he made that decision as to which country he would potentially like to represent?
So I made a deal with him very, very, very early. And I said to him, no matter where you go in football, if you ever become a professional, you must play for Jamaica because you are a Jamaican, no matter where you go or how good you are.
Okay, good. So we'll have that box.
That contract signed, seal.
All right, good.
All
right.
We're going to say,
all right.
I'll big up them in the comment section. Travis Peso, Bomb Sports is here live as well. Andre Blake, cousin is here. Nathaniel Byfield, Cavaliers man. Darren Woodbine, that is Knockings. Big up yourself. Persons who are watching and not commenting as well. Big up on yourself. Remember to do the YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, share the stream. All right. Tell a lot of people about what is going on. Right. It's a game changer. All right. YouTube, media, doing some wonderful work. So let us share the information to as many people as possible. All right, Shaban, go ahead.
All right. So yeah, Mr. Epstein. So in terms of growth in the league, what are your aspirations for the growth with Montego Bay and for the wider clubs throughout the entire island?
So I think there's growth on multiple levels. Level number one is all clubs need to focus on player development, right? In order for us to raise the profile of the league and get it more competitive, you need to work on player development, right? It's easy to look and say, well, we can transfer players locally amongst clubs and you can get, sailor players that way. But you can go into the Caribbean, like we have some Trinis on our team and a Brazilian and a St. Lucian. Like you can do that and bring 6 players, into the squad from outside of Jamaica. But truthfully, from the business aspect of things, development of players and selling players into the US or European markets is really what is going to raise the profile of the league. That's one aspect of growth. Another aspect of growth has to be on the ability to sell the TV rights. Right now, as we were saying earlier, Sportsmax is doing a great job, but we only have a portion of matches each week, right? So you have 7 matches each week, and only 4 of the 7 are getting live television access, which we should truthfully have all 7 matches. And that's something that the league is already working on, right? It's not unfounded, nor is it being glossed over, but that is a way to continue to raise the profile of the league. Another aspect is the clubs need to generally raise profile of marketing and the marketability of the clubs, bringing out more people to watch on a match day and utilizing that 12th man aspect of the pitch. You also need to look at the quality of the surfaces that you're playing on, or even, what is the quality on match day. Not only should lightning stop a match, but if there are puddles on a pitch or a pitch is waterlogged, like we need to move from that. And it's not necessarily, is one aspect of it is the quality of the pitch, but the other aspect of it is when you think about your players, they're not just people. They're not just individuals. They're athletes. an injury playing on a bad pitch could end their career early, could end their
True.
earning opportunity not only locally but internationally. And we as custodians of these assets, we have to make sure that they're only playing on high quality pitches. I mean, we're a professional league at the end of the day. We're not just the Jamaica professional league, but we are the most sought after professional league in the region.
True. You made some points in regards to the broadcasting. It's something that I've had in my head for some time now, and I think maybe Sportsmax they don't have the resources right now to cover all 7 games. But I have had some thoughts in my head that I think maybe not having all of their games on Sundays, well, majority of their games on Sundays and on Mondays, maybe having a 1 or 2 games on a Saturday so that they could then show those games on a Saturday and then 2 on a Sunday and then another 2 on the Monday. Or what I think that would be more feasible, um, utilizing the YouTube as space. You have each club may have their own YouTube channel, and I think this would also help the clubs as well. So each club has their own YouTube channel, and let's say Montego Bay is playing a game today, but it's not being televised by Sportsmax. Montego Bay could then broadcast their games on their YouTube channel, and then that could then be, as you know, you can monetize using the YouTube platform. Montego Bay would then benefit from that. The players would benefit of that because you will have scouts from outside of the region that will be able to see them on that particular day. So, what do you think about those? Well, as you said, the JPL they are trying to find different avenues to try to have that issue resolved. But in the interim, why not try to do something right now? What do you think about that particular aspect?
So what I would say is you have to focus on the quality, right? So no matter the end result, for example, if you're using YouTube or if you're using a website or you go to a link and you buy and purchase access to the match or whatever, you have to make sure that whatever quality equipment is being used to record or stream that match is up to standard. But I think that there is no approach that is unknown or not accessible. What I would say is that the league is very much in discussions with Sportsmax and others to ensure that every match each week is televised and televised at a high quality level. Um, so I would say that that will come. It has to come, and it's a big part of raising the profile of the league overall. So I would say stay tuned. But I think your approach is one that definitely I'll bring back to the crew, um, between Owen and Chris, and see how we can expand it, because it needs to be expanded. Even from my look at Montego Bay matches and I read our posts, people ask, is this match going to be on on Sportsmax? Is this match going to be streamed? I mean, we have an opportunity to stream our matches, and we're just waiting to kind of get that access. But we wouldn't do it, in any of the areas that Sportsmax currently has the rights for. So if it's once it's outside of that, we would be able to stream it. But it's something that the entire league needs to step to.
Okay, that's a fair point because you want to ensure that if the product is being shown out, you want to ensure that the product is actually of top quality. You don't want it to be a bit pixelated where a person still, even if sure persons can't see exactly what's going on. So
Correct.
I understand from that standpoint. Um, this has been a topic for me that really it's a bother to me. Unseen knows it. In regards to the pitches. Um, Jokingly, the past 2 seasons, I have been saying a particular club should get relegated because they have not been doing well with their facilities. This season, they've had a massive turnaround with their facility. I think they're one of the top quality pitches now. But when you still look at some teams can't play home games because their field isn't up to par. Do you think like a mandate should be placed on clubs to try to work on their respective home grounds?
So I mean, a mandate has been put on our clubs, and the PFGL is actually working in a process right now in raising additional capital for certain clubs that to be able to raise the profile of their standards of their grounds as well as lighting and things of that nature to be able to get all 14 clubs to a level where you can play your home matches. You know, your fields won't get waterlogged. You have lights. You have the grass is green. It's the right grass, and the ball is playing true. Because as I said before, you know, you have to ensure that while the pitch is the quality of the pitch is one thing, you don't want to force unnecessary injuries on your players because your players are assets.
True, that's true. Unseen?
Yeah, I have a question. And it's pertaining to the filming of the matches. I'm saying, in my opinion, this could work. No, as it stands, Sportsmax don't have all equipment, but there are YouTubers out there who have with Sportsmax would be that hey, you're gonna stream on my platform. I can pay you this. I'm gonna add you an ex cameraman and analyst, right? A commentator, and you could go and stream the game, right? You could put them in some trainings first. Let us understand the theory of it and stuff like that, and then I think would help in terms of the quality. What's your take on that?
I look, as I say, I believe publicizing, whether that be on television or on YouTube or any type of streaming service, is where we need to get to. As I say, I know there are a lot of discussions in play, and until things are signed, sealed, and delivered, I can't say much more. But I support everything that you guys are putting forth, and as I said, the fans are asking for it every week in, week out. So
That's true. As I meant, as we spoke earlier before the show started, Mr. Epstein. Yesterday, me and MG, well, from MG as well, we had a we had a we had a little show at the Portmore United game, where we weren't able to show the game due to the broadcasting issue. And in the same comment section, every other comment that came on, show the game, show the game, show the game. So the interest is there. Do you think that if over time, because the league is growing, persons are there are interest in the league now, but do you think over time, if persons aren't able to see the games as they would like, do you think that can actually make persons lose interest?
I mean, of course, over time it will cause people to lose interest. But what I would say on the back of that is that, I mean, I've been to the last two matches that Jamaica has played in the office, and although they were both draws, um, I would say football in Jamaica is back, and we as custodians of the clubs, the league, and the JFF, we all need to make hay while the sun shines and take opportunity to ensure that we don't ever lose football in Jamaica again.
True. All right. So I just want to take some comments from some persons in the comment section, the fans. There's a certain Bomb Sports. So he's the one in charge of all. He's the Jamaican Fabrizio Romano. Um,
Yeah, man.
so he's asking. So back, I knew. Well, we were all aware that Mobe had a YouTube channel at once, and they would normally televise their games. Will it be back soon?
So the Montego Bay United YouTube channel is something we've been talking about and working on. Obviously, if you follow our IG and Facebook, you'll see the quality and the direction and the difference that has been put on our social media marketing. It's really taking it to the next level. So the YouTube channel is the next one. As far as streaming our matches, I mean, we will follow the rules and the rights of the TV, right? We're at the end of the day, we're a professional league, and we have to follow the rules and regulations, and we have to focus on advocating that all matches are available to watch on television each week, whether that be the club provides the technology to be able to stream it, or it is Sportsmax, or it is whoever else that may be in the lines. But we would not put our matches to be played in Jamaica on any channel that is against the streaming rights or the television rights that the PFGL has signed on our behalf.
All right, so there's two more. One, we're gonna have some more questions, fans. We're just going because we have some questions as well. Um, the next one, a certain Travis Pasea, he's from that side of the island. Very passionate, extremely passionate. He loves his local football more than anybody I know, to be honest. Um, the idea that I brought up earlier about Premier League games being played on a Saturday, in his view, he doesn't think it's possible. Do you think there is a possibility that can happen?
I mean, I would say that there's nothing ever impossible, right? It just depends on a decision. But the comments that I've heard is that Jamaica Premier League football is a Sunday thing, not a Saturday thing. So I don't know that'll happen unless there's a complete change of approach. But that's just what you hear in the conversations.
All right, so one more. This was a rumor that was going around over the summer period about Moby potentially acquiring the Trelawney multipurpose stadium. For me, it didn't make sense because Trelawney is outside of Moby. But would you be able to comment on that in any way?
I mean, you just answered it. We're a Montego Bay based team. Why would we buy or invest in the
Yeah, that wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah.
We,
So
we
all right.
went from blue and green to red and green. Why would we go to something crazy like wanting to move a team to Trelawney? I mean, that's a
So,
that's an
Shaman, that was the commenter correct himself, by saying mistake. Montego Bay talking about.
Oh no, but I heard the Trelawney multipurpose
there was
stadium
a
as well.
there was a comment asking about Trelawney, and then there was a next one about the Catriona Stadium.
Yeah, there was somebody, and there was rumors about Moby actually get. When I heard it first, I was like, why would they move it from Montego Bay to Trill? I know the parishes are basically neighbors, but that's quite a
We,
commute
we
for
are
fans.
Montego Bay United.
Yeah, so I never. So that clears that up for persons who may have had that question. But in terms now of the Catherine Hall Stadium, we've seen where you guys have done some work there to try to get the field up to par, but um we are all right. It's a lease situation that you have with them, correct?
So we don't have a lease right now. So just to kind of clarify that, we have an agreement to utilize the stadium for all of our home matches.
Okay,
We do some amount of training over there as well, and we do work alongside the St. James Municipal Corporation to maintain the pitch there,
okay,
to ensure we keep it at a certain level. However, the St. James Municipal Corporation a few weeks back went out to publish a tender for a company to look to lease the overall stadium. But there's some very specific things in that tender that you have to do in order to be certified to go to the next level of the tender, right? And it's making investments to bring back the stadium not only for football but for track and field, for futsal, for tennis, for swimming, and really make it a multi-sports development like it was initially set out to do. We, myself, and the team will be, responding to that RFP based on the multi-sport perspective. However, Montego Bay United would be its official home ground. If we were to be the beneficiaries of that lease at the end of the RFP.
all right. Do you think though, because Anthony, if you have anything to say, you can jump in at any time.
No man, no man. Quite continue. When you finish this one, I'll ask one question.
All right. So in terms of the multi-sport, because in my belief, I think our national stadium, our pitch actually suffers due to the multi-purpose of that particular stadium. We are seeing where concerts are being held on it, when track events are going on. We have the shot puts, the javelin, the athletes. They walk on the field with their spikes. Even though the damages may be small, but it's still damage to the pitch itself. Do you believe that potentially having a football specific stadium would be more beneficial to Mobe in the long run, or is just the of actually acquiring a football specific stadium that would be more of a challenge?
I don't. I think the multi-purpose approach um, is where we need to focus on. Right, Jamaica is a country of many talents, and it's something that we need to focus on. The javelin and the shot put and the track spikes walking on the pitch. Those are insignificant to um, damage per se. I mean, the so our focus would be on the multi-purpose. I don't think it's necessary per se to have a football only stadium because of the multidisciplines that Jamaica has and has access to with track and field. When you think about it, and attracting international track and field meets, attracting back western relays into Catherine Hall, maybe having character games because you can do the swimming and you can do the track and field and so on, and have all of that in one place. There's there's much more mileage from a business perspective and for training ability for all athletes to have more than just a football only stadium for MBU in Mobile.
Okay. All right. Unseen.
Yes. So, Travis Spencer reading my mind. His question is, Yanni, has Moby stopped training at Westport Park? And my question is, why Moby shift from Westport Park to catching on? Moby Eagle was, in my opinion, the surface is better than catching on.
So yes, Montego Bay United has stopped training at Westport Park. In the agreement when we bought the team, the property is leased. We didn't buy out the lease, and we effectively, in short, we couldn't come to terms in order to use Westport as a training ground. With regards to the quality of the pitch at Westport versus the stadium is in first class condition these days. A pitch is something that you need to constantly work at and maintain to keep it at and increase the level. You know, Westport, there was a certain benefit to playing there in the sense that the pitch was actually smaller, so you could use that to your advantage. It was just at the limit of regulation, but Catherine Hall gives us a far greater atmosphere than at Westport, right? If you ever watch a match at Catherine Hall or Westport, and particularly more of our recent matches, we had 2,100 people at the Arnett match. When Turtle scored that goal right before halftime, it just elevated the experience for the fans and elevated the noise and the atmosphere in the place. It really brings a true professional, what a true professional football league should look and sound like during a match. And if you dream of yell and even watch MLS and things like that, that's where we need to focus on and get.
I saw you jumping and pumping your fist man when you scored that goal. So you're in this.
I'm a very passionate MBU fan, albeit the chairman and the owner of the club.
Yeah, I can see. All right, so what is your? Oh, go.
Yeah. Let's backtrack a little. So we're touching on technology, and one of the things that keep coming up in the youth football hemisphere is that some of our JPL players, they don't know how to do interviews. All right, they don't know how to do interviews when they come on the set. They don't know what to say. what are some of the things that is put in place at Mobile to help the players to approach interview uh, speaking properly? Speaking our dialect is nothing wrong with speaking our dialect, but there's confusion sometimes. That you don't know what to say and stuff like that.
There's definitely training that goes into place. What I would say as well is we have obviously players who have played abroad, and have been in the areas of having interviews, and so amongst themselves they can help each other. But we have done some training with our players, and just it's really about being comfortable in front of a camera. It's and that is the only way that you solve for that is doing it multiple times and having multiple interviews, and that's why you'll see even with our social media there's a lot more interaction with the players, because all of that is just building their comfortability of having a microphone in their face and a camera looking at them.
Right. In terms of now, we were talking about clubs raising revenue using the YouTube medium or the social media platforms. We are on YouTube. You can monetize. Money is being made. I think this is an era where clubs can tap into, and it definitely can help in terms of alleviate some of the pressure that clubs have when it come on to paying for things. Um, I am currently working with Cavaliers Soccer Club TV channel, and the level, in terms of the level of eyes that it can attract, it is far superior than my individual channel. Far superior. If I'm doing a live watch along, I'm sure of maybe 100 persons on the Cavaliers channel, no more than that, and it is not. It is low in terms of subscribers, like 400 and subscribers. And these persons are overseas, like persons in Dubai, outside of Jamaica. Once you have those people watching your channel, it generates more money than a Jamaican watching your channel. So I'm saying if clubs can tap into that market, like we can't stream the games live, right? But we can do like what Chelsea do, a Chelsea TV, read a platform there, they show us talking, and we are at the game, and we have the commentators there and so on. I think that would drive persons to want to come to the match as well, and also revenue for the club. So what's your take on that?
So I think there are several revenue channels in a club, and as I said to you, part of this thing is football is a business, right? And football is one of the biggest businesses in the world, and it starts with, like I said to you, with youth development. You have to develop youth. You have to get individuals into your squad and a part of your team from early, that you can matriculate through the different ages into your senior team, and then sell them into Europe or US or wherever that they can then take their career to the next level. We need to see more of that in the JPL. That is what's going to help build football and make it a real household name, even bigger than it is today. Match day activations and match day ticket sales, that's a huge area that I don't think more than a handful of clubs in the JPL really benefit from. And we are particularly lucky in the West that we're the only team in the West, and we have such a strong following that once we're playing at home, the fans are coming out. I mean, I've seen even in rain, and we as Jamaicans we're afraid of rain, right? But even in rain, the fans are coming out in numbers, and we're very, very appreciative of that, because that's what helps the boys, right?
Right.
So player sales of even some of our existing players. I mean, there's a huge focus on that as we are in this season, as to when is the right time and who is the right players, because there's people knocking on the doors on a regular basis. When you focus on social media, I mean, those are huge areas of access to revenue, because what we have focused on is utilizing sponsors to give us that support, and the sponsors are going to focus from a perspective of it's a marketing spend. So as you know, when we took over the club, we had like 3,000 people on Instagram. We have over 8,000 people today. So you know
Oh,
you're saying that as a part of
Engagement.
your power to say, give me X money in sponsorship because I'm going to be supporting your brand as well too through our channels. So your point of the YouTube channel and how we do it. I mean, these are all things that are in discussion. I mean, we want everything to happen tomorrow as much as our fans do. It's been a year, It's been a year since we took over. I mean, October 9 was actually a year exactly since we took over. And we have to, while doing all this, we have to focus on, developing players. We have to focus on the team. And when you think about it, I mean, last season, the first half of the season, we were in, I think, 11th place. We ended the season in 7th. We missed the playoffs by goal difference. We went 10 matches unbeaten, 5 in a row wins. And when you look at the start of the season yesterday of this year, I mean, we're in first place. We have 13 points. We've scored 11 goals. We've only let in 3 goals. I mean, we're a force to be reckoned with, and that is what our job is. Our job is as custodians, as the club. We are doing this for our fans and for the city of Montego Bay. And Montego Bay, the only reason we were lucky yesterday is not because we get to 1 point, right? It's because of the poor pitch conditions and the puddles on the field. Because, truthfully, in that type of football, which is not quality football, it could have gone either way. But when we get Humble Lion in Montego Bay, you're going to see the difference.
So you say you're going to so when Humble Lion see the welcome to Moby sign, they're going to be shaking.
Just like the Arnett Lion. When it was.
I believe that.
All right, Yanni. You made a point just now that I really resonate with in regards to fan engagement. With social media, I said there's a handful of clubs who has really utilized the social media space. When you look at the games as of late, they're mainly fans who have been mainly football fans from yesteryear. But we are not seeing much youth engagement as fans in a fun aspect. And I think that's something that we really need to delve into to try to gain more youthful fans, because in the next 10 or so years, those youths will then be the men and women of the future. And you will want those persons to be fans of their respective clubs.
Yeah.
As I said, there's only a few clubs who have been utilizing the social media platforms, and that's where the youth interest lies right now. As you said, for Mobi, your channel grew, your Instagram page grew by almost 5,000 followers. You can see with the JFF page, theirs have grown. But do you think more emphasis should be placed on trying to attract a more youthful audience as well, trying to partner with specific schools from each particular parish? Say Mobe, they will partner with a Godfrey Stewart, the schools within Mobe, so that you can then get the funds from there. Do you think that should be a plan as well?
It should be everybody's approach, right? I mean, the next generation is how you kind of build the sustainability of anything. So, I mean, as it is right now, we are working to build our partnerships with different schools. We're actually working on a schoolers program, which will probably roll it out in January once we get it set right, where, on a Sunday or even the Monday matches that we can have schoolers come in once they're in their uniform, they pay a discounted rate. But even when you look at our matches today, even the Monday night matches that we've had, and you may not see it from the cameras in the crowd, but when you're walking around the stadium, if you see the amount of youth that are there with their parents, it's really tremendous to see how it has grown. And it's really seeing how different areas of Montego Bay are showing up to our matches. We've even talked about, how can we make a Sunday evening match, a 5:30 match, more of like have like some bounce abouts and fun things for kids to do. So it's more than just the football, and it's an outing. And if you do that, then you will start to attract more people. Because our goal is, we're seeing, consistently 2,000 people at our matches. We want to take that to 2,500 and 3,000, and go back to the days of 2016 when Catherine Hall full 7,000 was full up.
And also, with I've seen there seems to be a huge following for the schoolboy football. It has a larger following than the JPL, than the Jamaica Premier League. What do you think constitutes to that? The interest, because you said there's obvious interest in football, but it's just not going up to the senior team.
If you think about it, you know, what do most schools, public schools have? 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 kids that are going to school there, and there is a camaraderie for your team, for your school. So that naturally will bring a much greater outpouring of fans. I mean, if you think about it, look at Champs. I mean, Champs is the only thing right now that fills a national stadium, right? And it's how do you transition that to, from being a school supporter to being a professional supporter, a national team supporter, and build that back. And I see that transition coming. In the JPL, some clubs have it more than others. You go to Arnett, the Junglers are coming out. That stadium is full. Now that Waterhouse's stadium is back up and running properly, you're going to see that come back again. They have football there tonight. So, you'll see how, and that's going to be on Sportsmax. So you'll see how that looks. I think it's coming. The ground there. I think it's coming.
I'm going there later.
You're going on, Team?
Yes.
You go much later, yeah, man.
Good. All right,
Next
Auntie, you had a
question.
question?
Yeah. All right. The person in the comment section, they're in my head. So, they want us to dive into the youths. Now, question is, how do you plan to develop young talents within the Montego Bay United ranks? I think it's more of a technical personnel with the club, but maybe you have the plan to help them to the
The
maximum.
plan is simple. I mean, we have our MBU academy, and it is just to continue to build on that, right? So there's a section of kids who are paying kids who either have the ability to or look at football as more recreational, and then there are individuals that are coming from different schools or communities that maybe cannot be able to afford, that will be sponsored to be a part of our academy because they have that technical ability or quality that we can continue to develop them and get them into our squads early. So there is a full plan behind that is on the way, and we'll just continue to build upon it. I mean, our goal for the academy is really in the next 5 years for it to be a force to be reckoned with. And you have the quality of football. If you look back to the '98 World Cup team, I mean, almost 2/3 of it was filled by teams from the Montego Bay region, or the western region of Jamaica. And the gene pool is there, the quality is there. It's just to rebuild it, and I think MBU is surely at the forefront of that. And as we continue to connect with more schools in the area, I mean, the West will be the powerhouse that it's known to be once again.
All right, so I'm getting draped by a colleague of mine to ask his questions. Well, one, I'm gonna ask Travis first. It's a simple one. Do we expect the names to be on the jerseys of the Mobe players?
So here's my goal. You have to set goals for your players, and you have to set goals for yourself. We get to Caribbean Cup, our names will be on the back of the jerseys.
All right, Travis, that answers your
I
question.
love that
All right, so
approach. I love that approach, and you have to
yeah,
work
so
for
make
it.
it. You have to work
have to
for
work
it.
for
Yeah,
it.
that's good.
Work
All
for
right,
it.
so now to the more technical question: how profitable is Montego Bay United currently?
Montego Bay United is not a profitable entity yet, but it will become a profitable entity as we continue to as I say, increase all of the revenue opportunities that are out there.
All right. I think Mr. Owen Hill and Mr. Chris Williams had mentioned this in relation to healthcare and pension plans. With Sagicor, I think they have something with Sagicor currently, correct?
Yeah, so a part of getting club licensing, which, by the way, Montego Bay this year was given back a regional license. We haven't had a regional license in over 8 years.
Okay.
So that means, what am I going to say? If or when we get to Caribbean Cup at the end of the season, we will not have an issue being able to play in Caribbean Cup because we have a regional license, which is a huge thing. But part of that licensing process is every player must have health insurance. So all of our players have health insurance.
Okay.
As far as our pension goes, they don't have a pension, but we do work savings plans with some of our players. One of the things we've introduced is different levels of incentives. As you would have known working with ITEL. I mean, a lot of our employees are incentivized for meeting and exceeding KPIs, and very similar. We put a similar process into the club where players can earn incentives based upon where we are in the league and for winning matches and so on. And some of the players have said, look, hold back that money and keep it as my kind of like savings, and then you give it to me at the end of the year so they can buy something that they may want, or build a house,
Okay.
buy a house, or
Yeah, I think that's something that I remember you doing at ITEL when I was there, to be honest. It's like a saving plan.
yeah.
Yeah, so I like that approach. I honestly like that approach. So I know I'm not just the last one from Jordan, well, aka Knockins. Is there a monetary goal, or is it a certain amount of players you want to get out to a bigger league? Basically, I'm assuming he means like, is the main goal of the league? Are you trying to get players to play for to be sold to bigger leagues outside?
Absolutely. I mean, that's a big part of our goal. It's a big revenue opportunity for the club. And making the club sustainable is what our main job is. So we don't have a goal as to say X many players or X amount of money. Our goal right now is to at least get one player sold this season, because our belief is the more that the youngsters see other players getting opportunities, is the more they're going to want to come and play for Mobe. I mean, remember, when you think about last season, coming from where Mobe was, players never really wanted to come and play for Mobe. Even players that used to play for Mobe that went to other clubs. So we had to give them the vision and sell it to them. And now that they're seeing the vision come to life, now people want to come and play for Mobe.
And to also put on that jersey.
Yeah.
The best looking jersey in the league. I'm sorry, everybody. It's the best looking jersey in my opinion. So I think Jordan asked the same question. All right, Antingo?
Yeah, so this is a question I think most from people overseas want to know about this one. This one may be a tricky one to answer. All right, so Dos Santos is coaching Montego Bay. Was appointed by the previous owners, Dos Santos. Doing well in the first part. He did pretty well with what he had. Got some ammunition. They're taking place. The team stepping around this, playing games and beating almost to the playoff. Based on his achievement in the second part, maybe the first part was out of it, but second part of the season, there was no turnaround when the new coach came in, which is doing well as well. Zapata, love what he's doing with Bobby, his tactics and so on, and how he changed. He adapted to the league and how he changed based on what he has. But the question is, what went wrong with Santos going away? I thought he would have do well this season.
So let me ask back a question to you before I answer. But when earlier I said I'm a Chelsea man, are you a Chelsea man?
Oh, yes, I'm a Chelsea man.
So at the end of last season, we could say that Pochettino was doing a good job, and we were all kind of surprised when they said they weren't bringing him back, and then they brought Enzo in, right?
Yeah.
Um, Now there was a lot of questions around that, but so far this season, we like what Enzo is doing, right?
Right.
So I
Right.
would say that Santos is a very good coach, and personally, we had a great relationship. Um, but in raising the profile of the club effectively, you know, we had to make some hard decisions, and unfortunately, that was one that we took. But I think at the end of the day, I think it was the right decision.
Yeah. That must be a hard one. That must be a hard one. You know, hard. Good answer, Shavan.
Um, for me, last season I had Moby making it to the playoff. Again, I have a very controversial. All right, but Mr. Yanni, I'm a very controversial person. Not in a bad way, but I talk it as how I see it. I believed persons worked together to keep Moby out of the playoff. Because you, again, as Unseen mentioned, the run that you guys put on, it was tremendous. And I believe that if you guys had gone on to the playoff, I think you would have been a challenger for the title. Honestly, the way that you guys were playing, I was even scared for Cavaliers. I was like, all right, if we play them, all right, I don't want them. I don't want Cavaliers to play MOBA unless at the final. That's what. And also for the western side of the island, I know what it would have done for the western side of the island. Because if Mobi had potentially made it to the semifinal or even the final, it could basically pack up the whole of the western end and just carry them into the national stadium. So that was a good there. So unseen, the persons are complaining about the internet. They're not hearing you clearly. So I'm not sure.
I just kept it in the comment section. So I'm just hoping that it actually come back up a little bit better.
All right. So another question from Travis. Well, Travis had a question. Oh, the president of Saint Lucia. He what?
Gregson,
Oh,
no, so
Gregson president.
Gregson,
Yeah,
president from
yeah.
St. He
I,
actually, in our match against Waterhouse at Catherine Hall in January last year, he actually tore a ligament in his knee, so he underwent surgery.
oh,
I want to say it was April or May, and he's still in recovery. He should be back from St. Lucia shortly to finish his recovery, and probably you'll see him back in the squad in
Um,
January, February
yeah,
next year.
okay. Wow. Unseen mute. Um. All right. So there is another topic that I really wanted to talk about, academy wise. I know you mentioned that Montego Bay has an academy right now. Is your academy participating in any particular tournaments in the island, or do they travel overseas for tournaments and such?
So the academy, um, they performed in the U17 JFF tournament last year. This year, I'm told there will be a U13, U15, U17 tournament for JFF. So they will participate in that. We'll also participate in the parish tournaments, and then we will take an elite group of players, trying to get them into some of the Florida Cups, similar to like how you see where the Norfolk Strikers and
Ballers.
Maulers and so
Yeah.
on do, where we can, you know, we can take them up to play outside of Jamaica as well.
Okay. Do you think that with because we've seen an emergence of academies across the island, there's been a lot, like literally a lot. Seen since I've started working with MG, I've seen there are so many academies. Um, but on the female side, it has been a bit limited.
Yeah,
Is Montego Bay planning on potentially starting up a women's team? Well, I'm not
so
sure if you guys do have one.
we don't have one at the moment, but by by the JFF rules and regulations, we need to have one. We've had discussions with a few people, potentially looking at partnering or acquiring a women's team. Um, Critical mass in the West is a issue that we have, but it's something that we need to work on with the schools in developing women's football. Because I like everything else. We have talent, we have the gene pool. We just need to focus on developing it, and we'll have another Bunny Shaw and more in the works.
Who plays for Man City?
Yeah,
Yeah, just wanted to throw that in.
guess you're a City fan.
All right, so yeah, so with all right, so back now to the youth football for the on the men's side. Um, I know that you mentioned the U17 tournament, but do you think more should be done in terms of the youth tournaments across the island to get the youth more football and exposure? Because the main source of developments for our players right now would be schoolboy football.
Yeah,
And unfortunately, that only spans for 3 months, and that only goes on for the elite teams. So majority of the teams that get knocks out in the first round, they only play like a month and a half worth of football until like maybe in the summer.
yeah. No,
Um,
I completely agree that football needs to be a year-round sport. I mean, I look at my nephews who live in Miami, and they play football from September straight back to May, June. And that's club football, school football. I mean, it is nonstop. One of the things that need to happen in Jamaica, we need to recognize that rising tides floats all boats, and we need to work together in creating that. There's no one club or one academy or one team that should be successful out of this. If all 14 clubs in the Premier League have academies, and we're selling players, and it's competitive to the point where the worst team in the league can beat the top team in the league on any given Sunday, that is the approach that we need to take. Unfortunately, in Jamaica, we have a crab in the barrel type mentality where I must have everything and you must have nothing. And until we can change that and recognize that if we all work together, we're all successful. Then there's that much more economic value that football will provide to the country than if just one team is successful.
True. Because that's something that I have been calling for some time now. But you do have some detractors, persons are saying that that's not possible because school is most important. Yes, it is, but we're not telling them to not go to school. We're just saying for them to play more football.
Yeah, but look at it this way, right? At the highest levels, the clubs are where the players make the money. But
True.
FIFA mandates that there are certain times throughout the league where the players have to go and play for their nation, because there's Nations League, there's World Cup qualifiers, and then
Because
there's World Cup, and then there's no Club World Cup. Like it, they find it a way for it to work, and we have to find a way for
we
it to
to
work.
make it
Yes,
so.
why football is the most important thing right now in Jamaica, but there are ways that club football can happen throughout the year, and there's a break, or there's the time limits to say a player can play X time, but then has to go and play over in the schoolboy football.
Football.
But the short point is, we can make it work, and if everyone is willing to work together, then you know
All right, so based off what you just said, it reminded me of a change that happened over this past off season. Whereas the rule came out that if a player plays a JPL game, they would have to sit out six days before they can play a Manning Cup match or well a schoolboy football game. Are you in agreement with
Oh,
that?
I think it's ridiculous, because you can, by FIFA law, within 48 hours of a previous match, you can play another match, right? So I really don't agree with that rule at all.
And also, me and someone was having a conversation recently, and I asked the person, the rule doesn't only applies to the JPL, because what if, first say, Adrian Reed, he was part of the senior team, let's say he gets selected to play for the national team, which I don't agree he should be going back to Manning Cup. Anybody that plays senior team for Jamaica should not be playing schoolboy football, in my opinion. But let's say for he gets called up to a senior team and then he has Georges as a game after, but he never played the game for Jamaica. Does the rule also apply to him, or it's just the JPL? If you play a JPL game, you cannot play a Manning Cup game until 6 game after.
I mean, the rule have to go one way, either whichever way it needs to go. I mean, if he's on the national team, it should still cover similar to JPL, right? Because the National League is one step up from the JPL.
True.
So
Well, I am in agreement with you. I don't agree with it. As you mentioned, it can be a crab in the barrel type of situation. Whereas if everybody works together, you can see a better product. But what is your end? Do you have an end goal for Montego Bay United, or this is just a start of something bigger?
this is just the start of something bigger. I mean, I firmly believe the Jamaica Premier League will continue to grow to heights that we have never seen in Jamaica, right? There are so many people looking at it. I'm certain in time we'll probably see clubs outside of Jamaica want to acquire clubs in Jamaica or partner with clubs in Jamaica. So to me, this is just the ground level for us. I mean, my goal is, we know Montego Bay to be champions of the leagues, and I've won it, four times since 1972, right? And that's where we want to get back to. We want to build a dynasty. We want to build something that we are contending for not saying winning the title every year, but contending for the title every year. And that's the level of competition that the league needs to get to. And that is our goal and our approach. I mean, this is not a short-term thing. This is not, I winning the league is one thing, but being competitive in Caribbean Cup and getting to, CONCACAF Champions League like a Cavalier, we need to see more teams in Jamaica doing that, and we have the quality to do it.
Okay,
Sorry,
awesome.
hold on, Shaban. So people, we have less than 10 minutes. Sir Yanni has something to do. So we have to do a part two, whether on my channel or MG Sports or someone else channel. Have to do a part two because the people are loving the conversation. But there are a couple questions that I have to get in before you go. And this is about the Caribbean Club Championship. Or do you intend to compete with the top tier Caribbean football clubs? That's one. And then the next question is, what is your success plan for Mobi United? So have a lot of factors that you may not be there to, put in the work. It can be on some business, adventure thing outside of Jamaica, but the work must be done at Montego Bay. What are your success plan for Mobi?
Well, first part of the question of competing in Caribbean Cup. I mean, I think we have definitely put together a squad this year, and obviously going into January, we'll do our homework and work again for that transfer window. We'll put a very competitive squad together, and without telling tales out to school, because everybody is watching what Mobe is doing now. I mean, I think from the defensive to the midfield and the final third, we have quality that starts on the pitch, and we have quality that's sitting on the bench. And a lot of people asked in the beginning of the season, where JJ, where Fletcher there? You soon see Fletcher touch. You soon see Fletcher touch the field again. And as Trevor said, President is a quality baller, right? So we have been able to develop that depth within our squad, and that is what is going to allow for us to be competitive at the Caribbean Cup level. As to your second part of the question, it's about building a team. No organization can operate with one person at the top of the chain, right? And we have spent time this year to build on our technical staff. As you saw, we've brought in a new coach. We have our assistant coach in Dylan Thelwell, who his team just made it to the second round for the first time in their school's history. With Malden, we have our we call it there our training coach who does all the strength and conditioning, which we never had from last year's. So we've spent a lot of time building the quality and building the squad from that perspective. So the on-field level is different. Now we've also spent the time in focusing on our administrative staff, because again, I have a full-time job in running ITEL, so this is my nights and weekend stuff. And we have a GM and an assistant to the GM, and a full team in marketing that all focus every day on how we're going to take the brand of Montego Bay United to the next level, how we're going to make sure administratively that we're doing our job so the players can focus about on-field stuff and the technical staff focus on the players and on-field stuff. And that's just really how you build a legacy, and that is what our plan is to continue to build on that foundation to ensure that the infrastructure is solid.
You look like a very technical person, though. Like you could be a coach. You sound like a coach.
Yeah. Running a BPO is a very technical job.
Yeah,
believe me, it's extremely technical. So he has to be technical. So Mr. Epstein, Yanni, sorry, my apologies. It's just my mom grew me a particular way. My apologies.
We can't steer and say that, Yanni. You have to put the Mr. in front of it.
All right. So I knew last year the CEO and owner of Mount Pleasant, he had mentioned that he had recommended some of his friends, close friends, whose pockets are almost as deep as his, about the potential of taking over reins of a club in Jamaica. Have you had conversations with persons that you may with that similar reign to say, hey, you can potentially own that club and we can go head to head to see who's the better owner? Have you ever had that conversation?
No, I've not had that conversation with him, but I do know his pockets are very deep. which I think he's talking about Peter Gould.
Peter Gould, yeah.
That's your friend, yeah.
I think what Peter has brought to football and done for football in Jamaica so far is transformational. There is nobody in Jamaica today that can follow in his footsteps from a financial perspective. He was a director of Chelsea for, I think he told me, 12 or 15 years under Abramovich. I mean, he knows football is in his blood. So it's going to be very hard to follow what he's necessarily doing. But what I've learned is that, money doesn't drive anything. And I've learned that in business. If you look at ITEL coming out of Jamaica, competing with companies that are foreign owned, have far deeper pockets than ITEL have. Money is not everything in being a competitor. It's a David and Goliath story. And once you have heart and you have support and you have a direction, a goal, and a vision, you can compete and you can beat and you can be number one no matter what. So I'm sure there'll be more corporates in Jamaica coming into the league. I mean, you saw it this year. I mean, Dream Weekend team have taken over Arnett. Look at Butler going into Vere. And I hear there's some other conversations happening with potentially with other teams. As you see more individuals like myself coming in, there are going to be other people that will want to follow. But Montego Bay is not a team to be looked at lightly. And that's not because of what we're doing. It's a support. If you think about what Montego Bay United stands for and what the history of football in the West stands for. It's a force to be reckoned with. We're only throwing more gas on the fire to make it that much better.
All right. So a last question here from one of our supporters. Well, can I give two more, Mr. Yanni?
Yeah, man, two more.
Just two. All right, two more. All right. So Bomb Sports. What's the current role of Mr. Powell in the current mobile setup?
So, look, Paul has built a solid foundation, has obviously built a winning team and took it from where it was. I think it was about what 2011 when he took over, somewhere around there. He is more of a supporter of the team today. He is not a part of the administration or the directorship of the club today. But he's someone that I talk to regularly, and he's someone that I get advice from and information from, because his brain is full of our wealth of information when it comes to football, locally and internationally.
All right. So the last one now from again Knockins. He's asking what was the inspiration in you selecting a foreign base, an overseas based coach?
Well, there's a few different reasons, but what I would say is that why I like a foreign-based coach is their job and duty only is to focus on Montego Bay United, or they'll be going home. So that is a
Oh,
that is a big thing for us as to why why we've chosen a foreign coach.
yeah.
Very
If he's a
big fan.
Jamaican and he's on, that's a fear answer. If he's on the island as a Jamaican, he will have so many other distractions. Whereas if he's not from Jamaica, he knows that hey, if I don't do what I'm doing, I'm out of here. So that's I like the way you think. To be honest,
Abramovich.
that's yeah, that's really smart. That's
That's
really smart.
Abramovich right there. That's Abramovich.
Maybe maybe that's why you're not an Arsenal fan.
You know,
Or a
I
Man
tell
U fan.
I tell him a Chelsea story really quickly. I mean, as you guys would know, I mean, you're younger, you're younger than I am. But when I was growing up, you never really had access to watch English Premier League football. So Man United was just the global brand. That was the only team anybody ever knew, and I just never took to them. So in 2005, the irony of it is that was when Chelsea was, you know, killing. I was living in England and I was watching football with a friend of mine. And I said, who do you support? And he said, Chelsea. And I said, why? He goes, well, we live in Chelsea. So I said, well, that's a good reason to support them. So for the last 25 years, I've been a Chelsea fan.
All right. So persons are going to question your because they're going to say that hey, you're just a glory hunter. That's what they call me with City. Even though I started supporting City from 2008 when my favorite player went there, but that's for another day. Firstly, want to say thanks again, Yanni, for coming on the platform. It's been what, an hour and 17 minutes that you yeah that you took with us. Greatly appreciative. Hopefully this can be the start of something new. Hopefully Moby become second in the league. Cavaliers defeats you guys in the final. Um, but again, it's really appreciative. I know unseen is great. Like, his connection wasn't the best, but we look forward and hopefully there can be a part two as well. But
If
do
we
you
get,
have any? Go
if
ahead.
we get to the finals, I'll bring it back to the West. I'll leave it there.
I
Okay.
know you had to come back for that one. I know you had something.
Any words that you have for the fans?
I would just say to the Montego United fans that you guys have been absolutely phenomenal from the day we took over, and we will continue doing our job as an administration and custodians of the club, ensure that the city gets back to its rightful place as champions of the Premier League and furthering into the Caribbean Cup once again. So you guys keep coming out and supporting. We will keep ensuring that our boys are prepared every Sunday to be champions, and as an administration, we'll continue to do our job. So thank you, and thank you to you guys for Unseen for reaching out to do this interview. We are here. We want to support you guys. We want to support what you're doing. What you're doing for the football community is tremendous, and Jamaica needs it to continue to step into the greater heights of world in the world of football. Because as a national, at a national level, we should never miss a World Cup ever again.
True.
So we need the full life cycle in order to make that possible, and you guys are a huge part of it. So thank you for what you're doing as well too.
All right, and also any last word, because we don't want you to just speak to the Moby fans, the wider football in public. What would you say to everybody else?
Focus. It's the same process as to what Chris Williams has been pushing for the last 4 years. Focus on development, focus on your product being your players, your pitches, your marketing. That is what is going to raise the entire league. As I said earlier, rising tides floats all boats. And if we've got 14 competitive teams, we've got the greatest league in the region, and we'll be competitive at other levels as well too.
Okay, that's good. All right, Mr. Epstein again. My apologies. Yanni. So yeah, so thank you again for coming on. Greatly appreciative, and we look forward to seeing you in the final. So Mr. Speed can, we can just we don't want to laugh after movie, but we can just say, yeah,
I
it's
love
another trophy.
I love Speed and what he's doing, but at the end of the
Shaban.
day, we can only control so much. What happens on the field is
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
left to the boys.
All
Shaban,
right, thanks again.
you have to remember, Shaban, that Mount Pleasant is Cavaliers kryptonite. No. Yeah. So, they will play Mount Pleasant,
More
Cavaliers
pleasant
are.
is what?
No, man,
Oh,
Mount Pleasant.
hey. We're talking about Moby and Cavaliers here. Let's leave that
So
over there.
you have to
All
be
right.
careful because Bobby a big side of it. Bobby a big side. Be careful.
All right.
All right,
Thanks again,
man.
Mr. Yanni.
Big up.
Good to see you
Respect.
again.
Big up.
Let-
All right. Chelsea, man. Chelsea, man. Yeah, people. Shaban period. Job well done. A
Uh,
wonderful job. And the amount of questions to ask, eh?
yeah, and there are so many more fans. Hopefully, we can have Mr. Yanni back. As Unseen said, we'll try to have a part two, and we will try to have more of
Mr.
the
Pool.
club
Mr. Pool
owners.
now.
Yeah, we try to have more club owners on the respective platforms, so that we can get some insight as to what's going on inside the brains of these persons, so we can then have it shared, and then the wider Jamaica can have an understanding as to where those persons' head are at currently. We want to thank MG Sports TV, which I'm representing, Unseen Sports. We have Jam PL, we have Knockins, we have BAM TV, and the Jamaica Premier League team. We we're doing good so far, and we're looking forward to see how best we can have it for the growth in the football in the entire island as well.
So, people, tell me who know where you're from next. So we can look for that interview. You want Craig Butler, Mr. Gould. Who's the next person? Drop in the comment section. We can
Yeah,
fast.
just put in the comment section, and then if it's possible, we'll try to have it done as well.
Let me know. Or text you on Instagram, and so we can line it up and thing. Yeah, man.
All right,
People,
guys, peace out.
you, yeah, do the YouTube stuff, people. Like, subscribe, and share to the content. Me are there waiting me, bro. Me are there, Waterhouse match, bro. I know Shabana there. Shabana stay home, but me are there Waterhouse
Now
match.
I'm probably depends on the MG I do, man.
Yeah, me are there Waterhouse match, people. So anyway, we don't want to spoil the interview because we want people to go back and watch. Oh, and Peter Golem saying, Marky British. Who's Marky British?
No. Oh, you got to he's one in charge of Arnett Gardner. Oh
Oh,
no, I
Mark.
think
Oh,
yeah. We don't want to
oh.
get too political though. But I mean, guys, just leave your comments in the just leave your comments on who you'd like it to be, and then based on that, Unseen will try to reach out, or even MG as well. As I said, we will try to have this on multiple platforms so it can be spread out as well.
Maybe they want to hear from Zapata.
Code Zapata. I
Yes.
mean, just put out if you want to hear from Mr. Speed again. Yeah, Mr. Butler. Anybody, just leave it in the comment section, guys. Now we'll see what we can do. All right, thanks much. Again, bless up to Bomb Sports, bless up to Jam PL, bless up to Knockins, bless up to the MG Sports TV, and you have to bless up to the man who made it happen today, Unseen Sports. Guys, make sure you like, share, subscribe to the man channel, click on the bell so that whenever he posts, whenever I'm go live, you get the notification immediately. That's important as well. All right, guys. So thanks again and peace out.
Mecca's Beauty Bar and Spa services offers eyelashes, facial, eyebrow tint, ingrown hair removal, waxing, eyebrow shaving, makeup, facial, eyebrow waxing, full body waxing. Call 876-990-535 on Instagram Mecca's Beauty Bar. Inside 123